Hi, fam, and welcome to Precisely Nowhere. Happy to be back for another episode. I'm recording this in early March after giving myself about 5-week break from the pod. I went to Mexico with my boyfriend's family and will be sharing more about that trip in a future episode. So, not gonna scoop myself today. Love Mexico and I'm excited to go back and explore more of it. Last episode, we spoke a little bit about Women's History Month, and in celebration of Women's History Month and International Women's Day, we are recording this episode on International Women's Day. It happened serendipitously. Some of you may know that I am a lover of film and television and consume a good amount of it when I'm not doing the podcast or my 9 to 5 job or wearing one of the many other hats that I wear. I thought it would be fun to use this episode to chat about some inspiring women that I've come across through film and television. I wanted to give them a spotlight because, in different ways, they've inspired me and taught me lessons that I want to pass along to others. Cough, cough, you fam. And they are badass, and I love celebrating women. So that's what today's episode is about. I'm excited to share some awesome women in TV and film, and outside of their roles, they're also awesome humans, which is great. And I think that's what makes them special, is that they have had a positive influence on the world and continue to do so. You may be familiar with some of them, and you may hear some new names today. As I highlight and recognize these women, I will also be sharing the TV, movie, or book. We have one book reference that they are in, so you can check it out because all of the content is quality content. The first woman I wanted to highlight is Lisa Velez. She's a Puerto Rican singer who overcame racism, sexism, and breast cancer to rise to the top of the Billboard charts. There is a movie called Lisa Lisa that was released in 2025. This biopic is about her early life. You can watch it on Netflix. And as she rose to fame with Lisa Lisa and Cult Jam, that is the band that she was in when she first got started and eventually started using the stage name Lisa Lisa. You're getting the highlights today, but something I admired and enjoyed about the movie is how we see highs and lows, real things women and people dealt with during that time in the industry and just in society, and that first generation immigrant story. Lisa was the first Latina to dominate multiple Billboard charts, and she navigated her rise to fame in Hell's Kitchen, New York City, place that's near and dear to my heart, during the 1980s. So the fashion is everything and so loud, and I love it. And I resonate with the dreamer that Lisa Lisa has always been, and was especially when she was trying to navigate how to break into the music industry. And she knew that she had gifts that she wanted to share and help her family as well. The movie is directed by Talia Brown. That's spelled TailiahBreon. That's her first and last name. And Ernest Corchado plays Lisa Velez. She is amazing. I had never seen her in something before, but really great actress. And she is also Puerto Rican. So it's full circle. The next rec is Rebecca, aka Becky G. There's a Netflix documentary directed by Jennifer Dixiera. that last name is spelled Tiexira, and Gabriella Kavanaugh. That offers an intimate behind the scenes look at Becky G's life and career. It covers everything from her journey navigating being a like child star in her own right because she was a go-getter, to her YouTube phase and doing covers and getting into rapping, all the way through her creation of her first Mexican album, Esquinas, and her personal struggles with her family, her own relationships. She talks about her having panic attacks. She's just raw and unfiltered. I cried multiple times, good tears and sad tears. And I've watched this twice. Can't recommend it enough. It's all the emotions in one documentary and beautifully told. I especially loved seeing Becky's roots and had no idea she was from Inglewood. And I started listening to more of her music, and it's a vibe. So I love that I'm tapping into my culture in connecting with her art, and I can resonate with her story in a lot of ways. So I felt very seen watching Rebecca and also watching Lisa Lisa. Very inspired by these women who have been badasses and gone out there and didn't wait for life to happen to them, but really took life in the driver's seat and have done amazing things with their talents. Next rec is Married to Medicine. I'm recommending this show in general. There's lots of women in it that are personalities and I love. I'm going to call out one person this time. When I started watching the show, watched a little bit of I watched episode 1 from season 1, and then I skipped ahead with my boyfriend, watched the most recent seasons, and then I went back. So I've been jumping around the entire show, and I've seen people from the like early stages of this franchise to now, and then it's been so many years. Nobody's perfect. They are all strong women, and there is lots of shade, lots of reading other people, and a lot of inspiring women. When I was watching season 1, something that stood out to me is Simone. She mentions how she was raised by a single mom who stressed education and made her believe she could accomplish anything. I felt seen in that moment because I feel like my mom did the same. There were moments when she doubted my choices out of fear of the unknown and love. But at the end of the day, she showed up for me and supported me to this day. And so hearing Simone talk about her mom, it just made me think of my mom. And, I felt seen, and I love having those moments when I'm watching really any content. It's nice to feel seen. I admire the humanity and transparency and the willingness to open their personal lives and go through real shit on camera. And as a woman in my 30s and someone who's gone back and forth with being a mom, I resonate with some of the things these women go through and are going through as they navigate different stages in their life and different life choices and decisions. And I can't recommend enough Married to Medicine. I love it. I love to be inspired by other women and see women go after their dreams and thrive. The next recommendation is The Pit. And there are so many badass women in this show. It is hard to keep track of, actually. And that is a great thing. So, not mad at it. There are a lot of compelling characters in general. Today, we are focusing on the women and want to give them their flowers. So, we're doing that today. As a Latina, it's inspiring to see so many women from all walks of life and color prominently on the screen. And I feel like a lot of them have such strong personalities, and I can relate to that. So I can't praise the show enough for the diversity, and it is so nice to feel included. You can see that some of these characters are still finding themselves and truly taking it day by day. Nobody's perfect, but they're all badass in their own way. So I'm going to shout out some names. And I'm realizing I didn't share Simone's last name from Married to Medicine. So I'm going to shout out her name, Dr. Simone Whitmore. Whitmore is spelled Whitmore. She is an OB/GYN and on Married to Medicine. There are lots of amazing women on that show. Jumping back to the pit, in no particular order, these are the women that are badass, and you should check them out, watch the show, but also check out other things that they're in because they are great actresses as well. Catherine Lanassa, she plays Dana Evans, the head nurse, total badass. Issa Briones, Briones. She plays Dr. Santos, and she is a firecracker. Shabana Aziz plays Dr. J slash Javadi. I love her. She's really figuring out like social skills, and she is so smart. And I think she is more on the wallflower side sometimes, but her personality really shines. And I feel like it's shining the more seasons there are. So I love her. Supriya Ganesh. She's Dr. Samira Mohan. She's also awesome. Alexandra Metz. She's Dr. Yolanda Garcia. I mean, can you hear the diversity in these names? I love it. It just brings me so much joy. Kristen Villanueva. She is referred to as Princess. She is a nurse. She is spicy and I love her. I mean, all these women are spicy, honestly. Tracy Villar, she plays Lupe Perez, the ward clerk. That job does not look easy, and I tip my hat to all these women. Sapita, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Moafi, she plays Dr. Baron Alashimi. She's new to this latest season and an attending physician that is supposed to cover Noah Weil when he goes on sabbatical. And I like the energy that she's bringing. At first, I was like, I don't know, but I'm like, yes, I am feeling this. I love it's almost like yin and yang with them. Taylor Dearden, she plays Dr. Melissa slash Mel. A lot of people refer to her as Mel. She worries me some days, but she is doing her best, and she is also taking care of her sister. And she is an amazing sister, and I feel for her as being the older sister and can relate to her in a lot of ways. Tracy I feature, that is Dr. Heather Collins, and Fiona Dorif. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's spelled Dourif, and that is Dr. Cassie McKay. I love Cassie, and sometimes I feel like I don't see enough of her on the screen, but there's just so many great people in the show that I just want more of their faces and energy, and I love that aspect of the show, and it makes me want to watch it more because there is diversity. And I know it's not like a one-to-one to what a real hospital is like, but it is intense. I'm here for it, but I don't know if I could do it in my like real life. Next track is One Battle After Another. That is a movie. Going to throw a disclaimer out there that this is not a review of the movie. I will be sharing some of my thoughts, but they're mostly focused on a few of the awesome women that are in this movie. I recently watched this with my boyfriend and loved it. And I love the spicy personalities and how these women take control in these life and death situations. If you're not familiar with this movie, to give you a little background, Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is a washed up revolutionary who lives in a state of paranoia and happens to be stoned most of the time as he's surviving. He's stoned and using that as a survival mechanism. Living off the grid with his spirited daughter, Willa. She is a firecracker, to say the least. Chase Infinity plays Willa Ferguson, the daughter. This is the first role I've seen her in, and I will be keeping an eye out for her because she's an amazing actress. Because Bob is stoned most of the time, Willa is independent and has had to grow up quicker. That's my hot take from seeing their dynamic. When Bob's evil nemesis resurfaces, Willa goes missing, and the former revolutionary and radical in Bob comes back. And as he starts to search for his daughter, Willa, like any other teenager, Willa does make a few dumb mistakes in the movie, but it only humanizes her and makes her character feel more real and relatable. She has been dealt a shit hand, in my opinion. One might think a shit hand, and I feel like she kind of made the most of it. So I loved her character. She's a total badass, and she is dealing with some shit that nobody should be dealing with. So shout out to you. Tiana Taylor is the next woman that is in this movie who is also an amazing actress. She plays Perfidia Beverly Hills. I know Tiana from the show All's Fair on Hulu. I'm pretty sure I gave it a shout out in one of my past episodes and would recommend watching it if you vibe with female empowerment shows, anything that's related to the law and badass women. It's a star studded cast, and I love to see Tiana's versatility. In one battle after another, she stars as a far left revolutionary who sells out her group, French 75, to the military before abandoning her partner, Bob, which is Leonardo DiCaprio, and daughter, Willa, which is played by Chase Infinity. She is very stubborn, and sometimes it gets the best of her. But we see her humanity in her most vulnerable moments as well. And I do admire her action behind fighting for what's right. She takes some extreme measures in this movie, so I'm not going to condone all of her choices, but I think it is important to not be afraid to use our voices and stand up for what's right and take control if we feel like we need to do that for our own safety. She won Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Supporting Role in any motion picture at the Golden Globe. So she is thriving right now, and I loved her character in this movie, even though her character also irritated me at times. Regina Hall, love her so much, plays Deandra. Her character was giving me auntie that is always looking out for you, but may not be by your side, like physically there. An auntie who maybe also used to have a military background. I can relate to that personally, and I love Regina Hall, and I'm so happy that she was in this movie because it made it even better. In my eyes, Regina Hall is an icon, and she has a lot of range. Wouldn't be mad if I saw her in some more action-packed movies. And fun fact to all the NYU alums out there, she is also in the NYU fam. I did not know that until recently when I was doing random Google searching on her because I admire her so much. And she earned a master's degree in journalism from the NYU Graduate School of arts and sciences in 1997. I mean, it all makes sense, right? She's just a queen. And I highly recommend this movie and checking out other movies and projects that these awesome badass women are in. Homegoing is my last recommendation, and it is a book recommendation. I'm 20 pages away from finishing the book, and I can't wait to recommend it. My dad has already called dibs on reading it next and borrowing my book as soon as I finish it. It's a beautiful story. It brought me to tears, and it felt serendipitous to be reading it on my recent trip to Mexico. So there's more to unpack there. Shout out to my dear friend Amanda who gifted this book to me. It's one of those books that leave an impact on you that lasts a lifetime. Highly recommend, and it's 300 pages, so not too lengthy. As someone who enjoys reading but finds herself buying more books than I read, I do keep in mind sometimes the length. I'm like, okay, I already know it's hard enough for me to read a book, so let me just not take on too much and baby steps. This is a book that you can get through even if you're not an avid reader. And I'm on my own journey to read more. I want to pay it forward. So that is why I'm recommending this book. Give you a synopsis of it. This is what is on the book itself. Homegoing is a critically acclaimed debut novel by Ya Gyasi. Ya is spelled Yaa, and her last name is spelled Gyasi. That traces the descendants of two half sisters in Ghana, Effia and Essie, through 8 generations from the 18th century to present day. One sister marries a British slaver and lives in comfort, while the other is imprisoned in the same castle and sold into slavery in America. With their parallel family lines exploring the legacy of slavery, colonialism, and the African diaspora across continents and centuries. It is so moving and so informative that I feel like it's opened my eyes even wider to the world. And it is very surreal to be reading this book and just thinking about the state of the world that we're currently in. So, highly recommend it if you want to broaden your horizons a bit. And every chapter is a new family member. So you're like reading about these different people, and I just love the way the story is told and how it unfolds generation to generation. And there were so many chapters that I was just like on pins and needles reading through, and I read most of it in Mexico and came back with 100 pages left to read and have been powering through it. I am stoked to finish it. By the time this episode comes out, I will have finished it and will be picking up a new book in my library. I've decided that unless I get gifted a book, I am going to read books that I already have that I haven't read. I want to slowly chip away at some of them that I bought for a reason at a different time or was gifted them and take the time to read them. That is my spiel about books, and I love you all. Last but definitely not least, there's a No Kings rally March 28th. I'm attending one, and I know there will be many cities throughout the US and hopefully in the world. I will share the link to the one that I'm attending, the information that I am able to find. And I highly encourage you to Google, find a rally near you. A lot of these are peaceful rallies, just trying to spread awareness that we should not mistreat people, um, spread love, not hate. We are in a time in history where humanity, once again, sadly, is at stake, and we need to stand up for human rights. There are no kings. We are not going back. So I hope you all stay safe. I love you so much, and thank you for listening. We are so stoked to be back from Mexico, and there is so many great things in store for us this year, and I hope the same for you. Have a lovely rest of your March, and we will talk very soon. If you missed International Women's Day, it's never too late to celebrate the women in your life. Send them a text, give them a call, FaceTime your grandma, just talk with them. Sometimes we just need to be heard, and not all of us have that support system. So don't be afraid to extend an olive branch or just start a simple conversation with anyone in your life. Here's to all the women in our life and to celebrating women every day, not just during Women's History Month. Chat soon.